This is Janet TV on the radio, and you're listening to Bring It In with Coach D, where we catch up with athletes and coaches from around the world. The NCAA Women's Basketball Tournament has had some great upsets this week involving DePaul University and Brigham Young. So we will recap these two games as well as our top picks out of the Sweet 16's West. Number 7 DePaul outshot the number 2 seed Duke with a score of 76-65. Heather, I was stunned by the outcome of this game. DePaul definitely didn't come out playing like the underdog. They beat Duke by taking high-risk shots and making them. The Blue Demons hit a season-high 14 three-pointers. How much of an advantage does it give a team to score so many three-pointers in a game against big physical teams in this tournament?
It takes the physicality out of it. I mean, if you're dropping bombs from downtown, you can't get in the middle of, all the hustle and bustle that is the big women, they've got some size on Duke, and if you take that out, you don't even have to worry about their big package. You're just scoring points and running back. I mean, if they ain't saving on your legs too, because you're just like, hey, can you just hit that? Oh yeah, you did. And there's nothing they can do about it. And there was nothing Duke could do about it because their size didn't matter.
Well, DePaul has, a secret weapon on their team. They've got the number 3 three-point shooter in the country, Megan Rogowski, who scored 22 points in that game. She had 6 three-pointers. Also, Megan Kochow made 18 points, and Brittany Rinko contributed 14. DePaul is on a winning streak, winning 18 of their last 19 games. I think shooting around big teams is a strategy that will definitely benefit DePaul in this tournament. It backs up the fact that they are also the second best scoring offense left in the tournament. They average 84 points a game. The Blue Demons make it to the Sweet 16 for only the 3rd time in school history. They will play the number 3 seed Texas A&M March 29th at 7 p.m. Eastern. So Heather, I know you're partial to the Aggies, so how do you think they will fare against DePaul?
I think it's going to be rough. I think the biggest thing that the Aggies have to do is, the Aggies are big on getting hot early. I mean, they get hot, they get on streaks, they go on an 8-2 run, 8-0 run, they get ahead of you, they jump on you. Gary Blair has them a solid defensive program that is very fundamental. So if they can stop those threes, if they can shut down the three-point shot and make them pass and make them try and penetrate into the middle, I think A&M has a shot. The thing that, they're completely different programs. A&M looks to get inside, get it to the big girl, and put it in. Although, they do have, Jordan Jones, who is 5th in the NCAA for triple doubles. I mean, she just messes around and gets them. And Courtney Walker and Courtney Williams. So A&M's got their trio too. They've got some scorers. They've got some, that obviously can assist, but they also play defense. So they could match up really well, or it could just be a debacle, for A&M. It depends on if they can get hot, stay hot, and keep on them.
Well, I'm a little worried about the lower-seeded Aggies. They played a weaker bracket. They played the number 14 and number 11 team to advance to the Sweet 16. Are you worried that A&M playing easier teams will make it harder for them to come out and compete against DePaul?
No, it depends on the team. Gary Blair has never had a team that doesn't have moxie. They go in and they fight. Now, they're not dirty, so that is one thing. DePaul can get into foul trouble because A&M's not fouling. They're not that kind of team. So if they put them on the line, they're shooting really well from the line right now. As far as playing an easier bracket, it can work to your advantage if you allow it to. They haven't had to put in the minutes. They haven't had to put in the hard-fought, emotional games that they really do take a toll. And whether or not you recognize that or not, it does take a toll. It does. It is mentally exhausting as well as physically exhausting. So for A&M, they could jump on this, take advantage of it. The fact that they've been able to, not practice, but it hasn't been as hard. DePaul has fought some really hard games.
Well, it's definitely a game that you should watch. Another upset from this week, number 12 BYU outlasted the number 4 seed Nebraska with the score ending 80-76. The Cougars held on to beat the Cornhuskers advancing to the Sweet 16 of the NCAA Women's Tournament for the first time since 2002. The Cougars outscored the Huskers 23-10 to start the game, shooting 60%. Morgan Bailey tied her career high with 18 points. Jennifer Hampson had 15 points and 14 rebounds. Lexi Eaton added 15 points. And JoJon Harry hit 3 three-pointers in the final 8 minutes for the Cougars. This became just the third number 12 seed to reach the final 16. BYU plays the feared number 1 seed UConn on March 29th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Connecticut has defeated their past 2 opponents by 40 points in the tournament thus far. Heather, do you think BYU is looking for a strategy for the game against the number 1 seed?
Yes. I think, looking for any way to create turnovers, to make sure, their high scoring percentage, high shooting percentage, like that's obviously going to help them a lot. But they also have to keep that up. They're playing against a different level in UConn. The defense that they play is high pressure. The defense that they play is very skilled, and they look to attack. So it might not be something they're accustomed to. And UConn can shoot. I mean, they're full of players that are capable of stepping up and capable of taking that shot. I mean, that's the thing, that when you play UConn, it's like a triple-headed snake, and you cut off one head and the other one bites you. So that's going to be a really good game. What they have to focus on is really making those shots and not getting overwhelmed by the atmosphere, because it's going to be intimidating. It just is. I mean, you can't play UConn and not expect to be a little bit like, well, we're playing UConn. And, the history that comes with their program. I mean, they're number 1 seed for a reason, and they have earned it for the past solid decade.
Well, we'll see if UConn can stay undefeated. The Sweet 16 will be putting on a show this weekend. Along with A&M and DePaul, there are 2 other can't-miss matchups. I'm looking forward to number 3 Penn State versus number 2 Stanford on March 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern. These 2 powerhouses are led by Maggie Lucas, the 2-time Big Ten Player of the Year, who has surpassed the 2,500 career points, and Sarah Taylor. She also scored 22 points for Penn. Ariel Edwards added 16 points in their last game over Florida. Look for these 3 to be a huge impact in overtaking the number 2 seed Stanford. For Stanford, they will be looking to Lily Thompson, who scored 14 points, and Bonnie Samuelson, who had 11 with 3 three-pointers in their last win. Stanford's advantage will be that they are the host site for this game. For this reason, I'm going to go with Stanford over Penn State for this matchup. Heather, how hard is it to defeat a top-seeded team in their home gym?
They know the routine. So I definitely think it's a lot easier for Stanford in this instance, and they're just a solid basketball team. So I think I'm going to go with Stanford for the win as well.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a sold-out game myself. The other matchup we are excited about is number 2 Baylor versus number 3 Kentucky. They play March 29th at 12 p.m. Eastern. The Bears make their 6th appearance in the Sweet 16, led by the number 2 scorer in the country, Odyssey Sims, who scored 27 points in her final home game. Also look for Nina Davis, the league's top freshman, to be present on the court as well. She had 13 points in her last game. Heather, how hard is it to not only be the top scorer and Big 12's top player in Odyssey Sims, but also add to that fact that she is a senior and doesn't want to end her season?
Oh, I mean, you can't take away the motivation. I mean, she's motivated. This is it. There are no other games. This is her time to shine. There's no Brittany Griner there. It's Odyssey Sims, and she is amazing. If you haven't gotten a chance to see her, watch her, because she will beat you. You take one thing away, she'll beat you in another way. You take the jump shot away, she's going to beat you to the board. I mean, she's just going to do it. So give it to Baylor they haven't really missed a step. Obviously, you can't replace Brittany Griner, but they've done a fantastic job of just continuing the work that they've gotten. They've done a great job recruiting, building around Odyssey Sims, and you're not going to be able to stop Odyssey Sims. It's really just a matter of making her pass the ball and making the other team beat you. That's how you beat Baylor.
Well, Kentucky has some weapons of their own. They also have in their pocket that earlier in the season they defeated the Lady Bears in a 4-overtime game, 133-130. The combined 263 points set a new NCAA record, beating the previous high for a Division I women's game. Kentucky's top players include Jennifer O'Neill, who came off the bench to net a school record of 43 points on 14 of 31 shooting. Sophomore point guard Janae Thompson added a career high of 20 points, and senior Denisha Stallworth scored 16. Heather, I can't wait for this rematch. What it would do for the women's basketball to have a similar game with multiple overtimes and exciting end results.
This is definitely probably the most anticipated game. I mean, if you get even an inkling of what it was last time, I mean, who comes off of the bench in O'Neill and just drops threes like that? When players can do that and come off the bench, it just energizes everybody, from the water boy to the crowd, you know, to your starting five. I mean, this game is going to be amazing. The hype that's going to be around it is going to be palpable. It's going to be a lot of pressure, and you know, maybe that's the it factor. Maybe that's one of those things that which team can deal with it, which team can go back and say, okay, this is a new game, not going to worry about the loss or the win that we had last time and mull around on that, and let's focus on this.
Well, I'm a firm believer that it's hard to defeat a team 2 times in the same season, only because the other team will pick apart the past game and fix the weaknesses they had. So because of this, I'm going to go with Baylor winning this game. Great games, the women's tournament this weekend. We look forward to recapping these for you, so stay tuned. This is Coach D, and you're listening to Janet TV on the radio.